Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author Matt Adams.
With his approach after a perfect drive. And all three of the players put it close to the flag. In fact, this is Rory for birdie this morning at 18, which you can see he converted. And the crowd went crazy when he did it. I mean, it wasn't packed the way it will be all week, but there were thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, I would say, were following Rory. He spent a lot of time, that's Harry Diamond, his caddy there on the right, talking to Harry afterwards. And then he made this effort. Look at him walking back down from the green over to where all these kids were waiting for autographs. And he spent, 30 minutes to an hour, somewhere around there, signing autographs for everybody, which was really neat. And they were, look at them, look how excited everybody is. They're going insane because their hero, Rory McIlroy, is taking the time to do this. And it's really neat because there's a lot of big-time stars over the years that would not have done that don't do what Rory does, which is really nice. So I hope you guys are doing well. Day 2 here of the week of the Open at Royal Portrush, and it's been a great one so far. The weather, it really turned yesterday because, as you guys probably saw from the videos we were running for yesterday, and we were talking about, Ireland's been roasting for weeks. And the time that I had in Lahinch with one of my sons and his friend was great. And it was very warm. It was in the 80s. The beaches were full and everything was great. But it has definitely turned. It's definitely cool. You can see that I've got the pullover on, and there's intermittent rain, and sometimes it gets very hard. Yesterday, after we got off the air, they actually evacuated the course because of lightning in the area that they were worried about. I'm not sure how evacuating the course helps the people that are on the course, but that's what they did anyway. So off they went. The odds, Dom, you're telling me that they're changing as we draw closer to the start of this 153rd Open. What are you hearing in terms of the odds right now?
The odds are ever changing, Matt. Yesterday's odds have nothing to do with today's odds. I'm going to put them up for you.
Interesting.
So you guys can see how much they've changed. It's pretty incredible how quickly things change out here. Let's get the odds up for you guys. Andrew's going to bring them up. I'm going to give you a full page for you there. You can see that Scotty and Rory, whose odds changed dramatically. I think Rory was 8 or 9 to 1, and Scotty at some point was 6 or 7 to 1. And you can see they're changing, ever changing there. John Rahm yesterday was 12 to 1. He is now 11 to 1, Matt. And everybody else has gotten worse, basically. Everyone else has gotten worse.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
so everyone's odds have gotten worse.
Tommy played well at the Travelers, obviously, and he was second here last time. He's 20 to 1. That looks pretty good. Xander at 25 to 1, and he's been playing well. Looks like a great deal. Victor, who's won this year at 25 to 1, looks great. Ludwig 25 to 1. Okay, I know a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in Ludwig. I think he needs to show everybody again what he's capable of. Terrell Hatton 25 to 1 is a great deal. Shane Lowry at 30 to 1 is great. Bob McIntyre at 30 to 1 is great. Even Colin Morikawa at 35 to 1, I like too. I like all those odds that are up there in terms of how those players are doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you some more notables, not listed here, obviously, but
Yeah.
Brooks Koepka, Matt, is 65 to 1. Nobody is high on him right now.
I was going to say, would you
Patrick
take him at
Cantlay
65 to 1?
Yeah, I would at 65 to 1. Absolutely. But I'm just saying.
I wouldn't take him.
They're saying it's not a good situation.
I don't know what you're going to say about Cantlay, but I wouldn't take him either.
Cantlay is 60 to 1. Justin Thomas, 50 to 1. Matt Fitzpatrick, 40 to 1. Jordan Spieth, 65 to 1. Let's see. Continuing here.
I wouldn't take him either.
Adam Scott right now is 70 to 1. Russell Henley is 50 to 1. You mentioned Sepp Straka yesterday as someone to keep an eye on. He is still 50 to 1. Justin Rose, 60 to 1. Jason Day is 90 to 1. Open champion Brian Harman, 150 to 1. Keegan Bradley is 100 to 1 right now, man.
Yeah, that's another good one. Would you repeat what you said about Matt Fitzpatrick? What were his odds?
Matt Fitzpatrick is 40 to 1.
Yeah, that one might be worth a look too. There's some good odds that you said in there. I think Keegan at 100 to 1 is a really good bet. He played in this.
You mentioned you saw Darren Clark earlier. We were playing the video. 3,000 to 1 are his odds. Right?
Yeah,
not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
But I did hear from one of the insiders today when I was out there with him that Darren was hitting the ball beautifully today. He was really playing very, very well, which was interesting. So think about that for 3,000 to 1 if you guys are so inclined. In 2012, they had the Irish Open here at Royal Portrush. And while that was not the beginning of the discussions, because they'd been going on behind the scenes for close to 15 years before that, the original GM here that I knew anyway, not the original because obviously it goes back so far, but the one that started this whole conversation, her name was Wilma. And she was just a really very, very good at her job. And she was also a very strong and powerful personality. And she started the conversation about saying, we have the Irish Open here, 2012. The 2012 Irish Open, I played in the Pro-Am here that year, and I was with Jose Maria Olazabal, which was cool because Ali was the reigning captain of the European team. And you probably remember what he did later on that September. America was leading 10-6 going into Sunday singles, and Europe came back and beat him. But in 2012 at the Irish Open, it was the first time that a DP World Tour event sold out. Now, the DP World Tour, as you guys remember, used to be called European Tour. It was at that time. But it totally sold out. And it kind of opened up the eyes of a lot of people to say, you know what, we think maybe this something can work here. And it was a few years later, I think it was 16, when they asked Peter Dawson, who was the head of the R&A, about the prospect of coming back here. And he said, it would take a lot of infrastructure. It would take this, it would take that. Maybe it was slightly before 16, because in 15, he alluded to like things that would need to be done from an infrastructure standpoint. And in 15 and after that, through the power of Wilma and supporters and obviously club members, they did a lot of the stuff that was kind of on the list. And then when they had the event here in 19, it became the first Open that sold out, because it had always been the case. The Open prided themselves that if you wanted to see the Open, you could come down to the gate on the morning of, the day of, and buy a ticket. And that's not the case anymore. They're expecting somewhere in the vicinity of 280,000 people here this week. Think about that for a second. Somewhere in the vicinity of 280,000 people. And they're saying that the economic impact for the economy here in Northern Ireland would be somewhere around 300 million pounds, which is just mind-blowing that it's that big. And it was you could tell today because when I was out there with Ramey, there were probably 5 to 10 deep on the rope lines following Rory's group and Darren's group and Tom's group, obviously. But I know the primary draw was Rory in this case. And it was something. And it definitely gave you a feel of what kind of a glimpse into Rory's life, what that must be like, because it's got to be hard to do anything, go anywhere. It's unbelievable, the demands that are on him. So you're going to hear from Rory coming up on the Fairways of Life show today. A lot of the big names are coming through the media center, and we're going to be sharing that with you guys, so you get a chance to hear from them. Dom, any updates on the weather? Yesterday, pretty much the weather was, if I had to summarize it, it was, we have no idea what's going to go on, but we're going to put in a lot of big words. It makes it sound like we do. But what are you hearing about the weather as we move forward from today?
Yeah, the weather is still a train wreck in terms of nobody knowing what the weather is going to be. I'll put up the official weather here from the RNA, and then I will read to you what they claim the weather is going to be, which is exactly what you would anticipate it would be. So there you see the weather here today and tomorrow expected, just trace amounts of rain. Is it raining right now, Matt, as we speak?
Yeah, it is. It is raining.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
It's gotten a lot colder,
this
too.
is the official forecast, Matt, for day one of the championship on Thursday. Cloudy to start with outbreaks of rain and some heavy bursts possible. Brighter later, but showers and a chance of heavy showers and thunderstorms are developing. Low confidence for rainfall amounts and for timings. And then they give you the rainfall amount, and it's 2 to 8 millimeters. So it's, again, they do everything in different numbers over there, but they really don't know what's going to happen. And the winds are 7 to 12 miles per hour with gusts upwards of 20. And day one's temperature will be around 72 degrees, which is Fahrenheit, which is about 22 degrees Celsius. For the rest of the championship, this is the official forecast, Matt, for the rest of the championship, quote, remaining unsettled with periods of rain and showers, including likelihoods of heavier rain at time. Winds generally light to moderate with variable direction, but possibly heavy. so might rain, Matt. It might not rain, Matt.
Yeah,
it might be cold. It might be warm. It could rain. It could, who knows? Hail. It could be anything, really.
It could, well, it's all true, actually. But the way I'm reading all that is they're hedging on the side of going, it could be really bad, like really bad. And that's true.
Well, I don't look at it that way. I read it, Matt, as on and off rain with moderate temperatures, which I think is the way it should be.
Yeah, we were last time we were here, we pretty much had the same thing. And at times when the rain came in, it was vicious. It was sideways, really, really hard rain, which was amazing that, Shane shot, a 65 on Saturday last year and ended up winning by 6 strokes. And when it was all said and done on Sunday, that's how far he distanced himself from the rest of the field because everybody was struggling. It's interesting because when you talk to the best of the best, whether they'll publicly admit this or not, the reality is that their mentality is that if the wind is down, rain or no rain, but if the wind is down at Royal Portrush, that it's one of the easier courses to score on. But once the wind starts to kick up, all bets are off. As you can see by that weather forecast, they don't know what to bet on in terms of that weather forecast. Okay, press conference schedule, because I mentioned to you that a lot of the big names are coming through. Today, it's a pretty good array of players that are scheduled in the press center. That includes Scotty Scheffler amongst that lot, John Rahm, Bob McIntyre, Xander Schauffele, Bryson DeChambeau on Wednesday, Justin Rose, U.S. Open champion J.J. Spaun. The RNA presser is also scheduled for Wednesday. So a lot of people coming through with all of that. Now, Dom, if you guys want to, like you did yesterday, why don't you just go to some nice photos or videos, because I want to talk about the air times for the Open as well, particularly for our listeners that are in North America. I'm going to start selfishly with what we're doing on the radio side. Open radio will start at 7 a.m. Eastern time. Now, for those of you, again, anywhere in the world in this regard, but for those of you who want to hear our radio broadcast, which is done through European Tour Productions and IMG and the RNA, it's called Open Radio. We will start Thursday morning at 7 a.m. local time, so that's 2 a.m. Eastern time. So 7 a.m. GMT, or British Summer Time, and 2 a.m. Eastern Time in the United States. So that'll be Thursday and Friday. On the weekend, the airtime is a little bit later. It starts at 9 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, okay? That's local time. So appropriately, that's 4 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday and Sunday. So 2 a.m. on Thursday and Friday, 4 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday Eastern, for those of you in North America, if you want to hear our radio coverage. The television coverage for the 153rd Open starts Thursday at 1:30 a.m. on Peacock. Then at 4 a.m., USA Network. Friday at 1:30 a.m. on Peacock, and then 4 a.m. on USA Network. Saturday, 5 a.m. on USA Network, and then at 7 a.m. it goes over to NBC. Thursday, 5 a.m. on USA Network, and then at 7 a.m. it goes over to NBC until the finish of the competition. The streaming coverage on Thursday and Friday, and there's 4 different feeds of the streaming coverage, which they're saying that you can get streaming coverage on Peacock, NBCSports.com, and the NBC Sports app, as well as the Open app. And I'm going to get into the where you can get the radio in a second, because I promised you. So streaming coverage on Thursday and Friday will start at 1:30 a.m. And then Saturday and Sunday, the streaming coverage starts at 3 a.m. Okay, now as far as Open Radio goes, for those of you who want to hear the coverage, because I hear from a lot of people, of course, who are at work or they're in the car, you're going to be able to hear our coverage, which is the world feed radio coverage of the Open on Sirius XM in North America. You will hear it, you can hear it if you don't subscribe to Sirius XM or you live outside of North America, what have you. You can go to the Open app or theopen.com and click on the audio option, and you'll hear our radio coverage for free wherever you are all around the world. So you got a lot of different options in terms of that. If you are listening to us or watching us, as it were, in the United Kingdom, you also can hear us broadcasting on Talk Sport 2. That's the big sports radio station here in the UK. So we'll also be there as well. So there's lots of different ways to get us. Now, when we come back on the Fairways of Life show, we're going to delve into Rory McIlroy. You heard me touching on it just a little bit, but we're going to jump into it in earnest when we come back and talk about why 2025 might be the year for Rory to once again win multiple major championships in the year, but why in particular he's a favorite here at Royal Portrush. Don't forget that Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is available once again, and I know how much you guys would love to have Ben Hogan Golf Equipment in your bag. BenHoganGolf.com is the website. BenHoganGolf.com is the website. You can check out everything that they have on offer there, and it also includes the new irons that they have. They also have the PTX Metalwood family. That's a driver, and the fairway metals and the hybrid, which are awesome. But the irons we've been talking about lately because they are absolutely gorgeous. So check it out when you get a chance, BenHoganGolf.com, and we're going to be back with more live from the 153rd Open at Royal Portrush.
Head down, water down the left, bunker down the right, take the club straight back.
Wandering minds.
When golfers lose their focus, they're totally...
But Bridgestone can help.
Introducing Mindset. The ball scientifically designed to keep you focused.
First, identify your target.
Next, visualize your shot path.
And then focus on the green dot and smooth one.
Play the Tour B and E12 with Mindset technology.
You see what happens when we work together? Stuff like that.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop now at flightscope.com.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me?
We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own style.
We swing our own swing. But we have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Middle market businesses are facing unprecedented shifts, which demand tailored solutions and decisive action. RSM stands as the unwavering leader of the middle market, empowering you to take charge of change and conquer this era of transformation. RSM. Experience the power of being understood.
And we welcome you back to the PXG Custom Studios. Log on to pxg.com and see why you have never played like this before. We are live from the 153rd Open at Royal Portrush. We're inside of the media center here, and as you can imagine, on a Tuesday of a major championship, it is absolutely packed in here. There are tons and tons of people. I was trying to estimate what the number would be. I should have asked somebody after we got off the air, but I'm guessing it's got to be between 1,000 and 2,000 media members from around the world that are represented here at Royal Portrush. The crowds are going to be absolutely massive. They're expecting that at the end of the week that the summary on the number of people that have been at the Open will be somewhere in the vicinity of 280,000 souls out on the grounds. And I can tell you already we've seen many, many people out there. So, you know, this is one of those weeks where coming into the week, the big story was Rory McIlroy. And rightfully so, right? You've got Rory McIlroy, who is a 5-time major champion. He's won 29 times on the PGA Tour. He's won 19 times on the DP World Tour. 7 times he's represented Europe in the Ryder Cup. 2 times he's represented Ireland in the Olympics. Golf on the island is under a common umbrella. And so that's why he was able to represent Ireland, even though he's from Northern Ireland. It's a common Irish umbrella for golf. Hollywood, Northern Ireland is where Rory is from, and that's about 60 minutes south of here. So this place Rory has connections to, Royal Portrush. At 16 years old, he went out and shot the course record, 61 here. So I know last time, because he opened with the 8, you know, and in 79, 65, it didn't look like that this was a place that perhaps suited him. It actually does. What didn't suit him last time was the pressure that went into it. And you're going to hear about that in a second from Rory McIlroy. Rory is now 36 years old. So when we get into the whys of Rory, again, some of which you're going to hear in the comments that he made in the press room earlier, there is the fact that Rory's more mature the fact that this is a golf course, or any really major, but particularly here at the Open, patience is the extra club in your bag, and he's more patient than he's ever been by his own account. He feels that he has better game management than he has had in the past, which is also interesting. Rory, of course, won the 2014 Open at Royal Liverpool. He won the 2025 Masters, and when he did so, he completed the career Grand Slam in doing such. This is the 16th time that Rory has played in the Open. Last week, which I think is important because I think form matters. Mindset obviously matters, emotional state matters, but form definitely matters. Coming into the Scottish Open, coming out of the Scottish Open, I should say, Rory led in proximity, scrambling. He was fifth in strokes gained putting. So there's a lot of reasons why things are working well for Rory in terms of how he's playing right now. And all of that takes us back to where you go at the beginning of the week so you understand mindset. And for Rory, he spoke a lot about what happened in 2019, because it's important to know, and how and why his mindset is different from that now. He also spoke at that press conference about what it was like in the immediate aftermath of the Masters, because I think all of these things show his mindset coming into a competition, and then now we have the luxury of measuring that against the performance that we actually see before our eyes. So Rory McIlroy is always a deep thinker when he's sitting in front of the media, and it was nothing less than that when he spoke before the assembled media before the start of this Open.
Yeah, it means an awful lot. You know, it's weird. It doesn't feel like 6 years has passed since 2019. I think it's amazing that Portrush has this opportunity so soon after the last Open to host again. And yeah, just, you know, great to be back. You know, I don't spend a lot of time in these parts anymore, just with travel schedule, you know, living abroad, all that stuff. So to be here, to see a lot of familiar faces, you know, even some of the, you know, every, you know, hole on the course has a different team of marshals from different golf clubs, and then just to see people that, you know, I've met throughout the years out there this morning was really nice. But yeah, it's really nice to be back, and obviously very, very excited for the week. Yeah, I'm certainly encouraged by how I've played the last two starts, especially last week in Scotland. Yeah, it's been, I think the 2 weeks off after the Travellers, just to reset, to get over here, bit of a change of scenery, has been really nice. And yeah, like this is, you know, when I was looking at the calendar for 2025, this was the tournament that was probably, I don't know, circled even more so than the Masters for different reasons. So it's lovely to be coming in here already with the major and everything else that's happened this year. So, and I'm excited with where my game is. I felt like I showed some really good signs last week, and feel like I'm in a good spot, and had not that last week was a pure preparation week, but it definitely, I feel like it put me in a good spot heading into here.
I mean, the pressure is off. The Slam is there. The Masters is there.
Is the pressure off? I think I remember not the ovation I got on the first tee on Thursday, and not being prepared for it, or not being, ready for how I was going to feel or what I was going to feel. And then the golf on Thursday feels like a bit of a blur. I try to forget that part of it, but I remember the run on Friday. I remember I had I was making a charge and making a run to try to make the cut, and I hit a 6-iron into the 14th second shot. And I remember the roar from the crowd. It was sort of getting a little dark, and it was overcast, and I for whatever reason, like that, the one thing I remember is that shot and that roar of the crowd, and walking up to that green and getting a standing ovation. that was it was really special. I wish I had have been here for 2 more days to get a bit more of that and experience it. But hopefully I can change that this week. Shane and I have become, we've always been close, but I think we've become very close over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. I think once we both had kids, or at least once I had kids or had a daughter, and I see how Shane is with his daughters, and I just think when I say like a role model, I just think about like how he is off the course, how he is able to separate his his family life and his normal life from his golfing life. And look, it may be a little more, I'm in a little bit of a different position, so it may be a little more difficult for me, but it's definitely a place that I strive to be in, to be as comfortable getting away from it as he is in a way, and enjoying the fruits of your success and sharing that with your loved ones, and so that I think more so that, I mean, that's what one of my New Year's resolutions was to have more fun, and I think Shane is very good at having fun, and I need more of that in my life. I think everyone could see over the last couple of months how I struggled with that. I've done something that I've told everyone that I wanted to do. But then it's like I still feel like I have a lot more to give, and it, talk about the pressure being off, yes, but anyone that sits up here at this table, we're all competitors. We all want to do better. We all think we can, just get a little bit extra out of what we have, and but yeah, it's taken me, and it hasn't taken me that long. I mean, geez, it's been, 10 weeks or whatever it is. It hasn't been that long, but I think just, and I probably haven't, I've alluded to this, but I probably just didn't give myself enough time to let it all sink in. But that's the nature of professional golf. They do a very good job of keeping you on the hamster wheel, and if you feel like it's hard to get off at times. But yeah, it's been an amazing year, and the fact that I'm here, at Portrush with the green jacket, having completed that lifelong dream, as you said. I want to do my best this week to enjoy everything that comes my way, and enjoy the reaction of the fans, and enjoy being in front of them and playing in front of them. But at the same time, I want to win this golf tournament, and I feel like I'm very capable of doing that. So I think in 19 I probably tried to isolate, and I think it's better. I think it's better for everyone if I embrace it. I think it's better for me because I can. It's nice to be able to accept adulation, even though I struggle with it at times. But it's also nice for the person that is seeing you for the first time in a few years, and so it just makes for a better interaction and not trying to hide away from it. So yeah, I think it's more of a embrace everything that's going to come my way this week, and not try to shy away from it or hide away from it, and I think that'll make for a better experience for everyone involved.
Interesting comments from Rory McIlroy addressing the media in advance of the start of tournament proper at the 153rd Open. We are live from Royal Portrush. We'll be back with more of the Fairways of Life show right after this.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
Golf season is back, baby. Play the best rounds of your life with PXG.
I feel like dancing. I feel like dancing.
Visit pxg.com to see what we can do for your game.
I'm feeling groovy, so groovy.
PXG, you've never played like this before.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me?
We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own styles.
We swing our own swing. But we have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. You know, Hub's Peanuts has been cooking up the top 1% of peanuts for over 70 years. And these aren't your average nut. These are super extra large Virginia peanuts cooked in the USA. Family-owned Hub's Peanuts have more protein than any other nuts. So whether it's a boost on the course or a special gift, the variety of flavors guarantees Hub's Peanuts is just what you need. Family-owned, nutritious, delicious, and sustainable. Hub's Peanuts, it's just right. HubsPeanuts.com.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
As we welcome you back to the 153rd Open at Royal Portrush, joining me here inside of the media center. As I mentioned to you, it's absolutely packed, as you can imagine. And it's interesting because where I'm sitting, I'm kind of looking over where a lot of the print journalists through the different mediums now, you know, would have in the old days been magazines and newspapers and things, but that's still represented. But a lot of this is online in very different formats, digital formats, what have you. But every now and then, this just washes out the other direction because players are coming in and speaking. And you can get a gauge of the popularity of a player just by what happens in this room in front of me. Because when this room empties out, and there you can see there's a lot of people just chilling in here right now. But when this room empties out, that means that there's somebody that's going into that interview room, and it's somebody that everybody wants to hear from, like Scotty Scheffler or Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm. They're all scheduled to speak today, and it gives you a pretty good, I think, a cool look at what this room is actually like. Now, one of the players who already came through, of course, was our defending champion, Shane Lowry. And, you know, obviously the first thing you're going to ask a player that had the pinnacle of their career is yet at this place. He was asked how it feels to be back at Royal Portrush, where he won by 6 strokes, and just it was a magical week for the Irishman to win the Open on the island in Northern Ireland, as it were. It was just amazing. And just like Rory was asked about what attributes do you like about Shane and how he handles his game, Shane was asked the same thing about Rory, about his friend. He was asked about what he feels like his chances are this week here. What did he do rather than competing in Scotland? In other words, was he using that time to prepare himself for here? And then he was asked, how do you explain how it all came together for you here in 2019? So a really fun interview with Shane Lowry.
It's great to be back, I suppose. I was here a couple of weeks ago, and I was here last year for the first time, but I was here a couple of weeks ago and all the grandstands were open. That's when like stuff really starts to flow back to you. So it was pretty cool to kind of get that out of the way. And then I came up here yesterday. I played 9 holes last night and 9 this morning, and yeah, great memories. And I'm looking forward to the week. But obviously, I know, that's quite a while ago, and no matter what I done then, it doesn't give me any God-given right to do anything special this week. So I just need to get my head down on Thursday morning and get after it and see what happens. I think it's constant work ethic. I think, and yeah, we have become quite close over the last number of years, and I think it's helped both of us. I think I help him, but he helps me as well. I think I certainly feel like I've learned a lot from his work ethic and how I apply myself to the game now. We spend a lot of time together, and just you go where we live in Florida, like there's a lot of players live there, and you go to the range and there's never a day goes by where you get there and some of the top players in the world are not there. So you're like, well, if all these guys are here, we need to be doing it as well. So it's I think my biggest thing for him is how much he's done everything there is to do in the game. Like he finished that in April, and his constant drive to get better every day is admirable. Yeah, it's amazing to be back. It's pretty cool that we're back so quickly after such a short period of time. Like we've only had 5 opens since the last Open here in Portrush, which is it just goes to show what the RNA and the organisers think of this venue. I think it's obviously I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's one of the best venues, and you look at it in this weather and I think it's just incredible. The golf course I played at this morning I think it's perfect right now. I think it's ready for a great week of golf, and I think trying to judge the scoring, I think the scoring will be a little bit difficult, and it's going to play quite tough. So but yeah, it's just it is amazing to be back. Look, I'm there, and I'm obviously there's a lot of memories, and there's a lot of thinking back to what I did, and what I did was very special, and to walk down the 18th hole with a 6-shot lead, I'm probably never going to do that again, so I'm not going to try and replicate that this week. I'm just going to go out and try and play the tournament as well I can this week. I've prepared as well as I can for this tournament. I know I have, and then it's just up to me to stay out of my own way on Thursday morning and go and get after it and see what happens. So in the last 2 weeks I've played Portmarnock, the Island, Baltray, Waterville, Hogshead and Adair Manor. I didn't miss anywhere else. So I've played some of the best courses we have in the country, and I feel fortunate that I have that on not on my doorstep, but I can go do that pretty easily. I've only played Scotland once in the last 8 or 10 years, and then I went to Hoylake and missed the cut, so that didn't work out well. So I went and I parked myself down in Waterville last week, and I spent a week down there, and I played golf every day. I played a lot of golf, and the weather was almost too good. That was the issue. There wasn't enough wind, and the sun was shining too much. It was too warm, but it's been an amazing couple of weeks. I haven't been home to Ireland since Christmas as well, so I've been home for the last 3 weeks. So we've had, I've had a nice time, been back home, and I kind of feel like a little bit rejuvenated and ready to go again. And I've had a busy season, and it's about to be another busy kind of next sort of 3 or 4 months as well. So I feel like I'm ready to go again. I've spent the last 6 years trying to figure that out. I think if you, at the time I didn't understand why, but I think if you look back, and my results have been really good going into the tournament. I feel like I had I remember if you look at the majors that year, I missed the cut at the Masters, but I shot 70. I think I shot 5 over the first round of the PGA and finished 8th. I think I shot 77 the first round of the US Open, and I had a great second round to make the cut, and I finished like 20th or something. So and then I I finished second to Rory in Canada, and I'd been playing like pretty solid, like really good golf the whole year, and then I came to a place that I knew and I loved, and you know, it just all clicked, and I was playing some of the best golf of my life. And even some people actually said it to me even this week, a couple of people that, you know, are close to me and walking practice rounds that week in 2019, they sort of knew that I was playing really well and that I was ready for it. But you know, I said, I wish you had told me, because I didn't think it. Like, I remember that week I was quite antsy and quite like uptight about the whole thing, but that's just because you want to perform so well or so much. But yeah, I still don't know why. Like, you never really know why. I think as a golfer, this is the way I look at it anyway, I try to do the day-to-day stuff very well, and then, you know, just keep going day to day, and then hopefully you get to some Sundays and you've got chances to win tournaments. Because I can't control what I'm doing next Sunday, or like right now, I can only control what I'm doing here and now and what I'm going to do after this, and when I wake up tomorrow morning, what I'm going to do. I can't control anything else or what I've done in the past. So I just need to, yeah, I don't really, there's no real answer. It just happened, and I'm very lucky. I always count myself quite lucky. I've obviously done well. I've achieved some good things in my career, but you know, some of the big things I've achieved in my career has been pretty nice. And I always say, no matter what happens, I'll always have, like, you know, even Baltray in 2009 was very special, and here in 2019, obviously, it was something that no one will ever be able to take away from me.
Amazing stuff from Shane Lowry, and kind of cool stuff too that he shared with us. For me, particularly where he was playing, because he was out in the southwest of Ireland. He was talking about where I've been telling you guys all week, it was so warm, it was so perfect weather for people that wanted to go to the beach and have some fun. And that, for him, he was looking for conditions that would replicate a little bit more of what he's going to have this week, which will be those winds, Dom, that will be kicking up, and there will be rain at one time or another. We're all going to be out there in the sideways rain, and that's just the way it goes at the Open, which is fine. You just prepare for it and dress appropriately and get yourself out there and do what you got to do. So we're looking forward to it. Again, for those of you guys that are interested in listening to us on Open Radio, you can hear us on Sirius XM if you're in North America. You can hear us on TalkSport 2 if you're in the United Kingdom. You can hear us anywhere around the world on theopen.com. Just click the audio. And you can also hear us on the Open app as another means of listening. So, Dom, did you ever get a chance to look at the final tally from what you did yesterday when you had players XYZ or the field?
I did. And I asked the same question today to continue to add to it. And the results, I have to be honest, Matt, are I guess you would say shockingly similar. The question is who will win the Open Championship? And the answer is Rory, Scotty, Bryson, or the field. Those are the options I'm giving you.
No, it's important.
And yesterday's
I was
results.
Talking about this. Yeah, Dom, I was talking about this yesterday. Sorry to interrupt you, but when I was telling someone Rory, Scotty, Bryson, or the field, it isn't two questions. It's four. It's Rory, or Scotty, or Bryson, or the field. Right? So it's an important distinction. Go right ahead.
Correct. Yesterday's results were 50% of the people, Matt, were saying that Rory was going to win, which is crazy when the options are Scotty, Bryson, or the field, or Rory. Yep. And the field was in the 40% somewhere yesterday. Today, similar. 8% right now are saying Bryson, 8% are saying Scotty Scheffler, 41% are saying the field, and 43%, Matt, are saying that Rory McIlroy is going to win the Open Championship. And I'll say the same thing I said yesterday, because I can't help but feel the same way, that it's an emotional answer. It's I really want Rory to win because it's in Portrush, and wouldn't that be great, and isn't that cool, versus the reality of the situation. But again, if Andrew's going to put the odds up here, and again, if you look at the odds that we went over a little bit earlier, the odds are saying it's Scotty or Rory. That's what they're saying, which is interesting.
Well, the only thing I can say to your comment, I don't think you're wrong that there's a lot of people when we've done this over the years, I always ask the same question. When you answer, are you answering because you think that's who's going to win, or are you answering because that's who you hope is going to win? It's an important distinction. In my case, I'm picking Rory to win. I've been telling you that for weeks, but it's not based upon emotion. It's based upon what I'm seeing. The way he's striking the ball, the way he's playing right now, particularly the way that the putter worked at the Scottish Open, but his ball striking was better from what we've seen coming into this week than what we saw at the Scottish Open, and what he finished second at the Scottish Open, which is a co-sanctioned event with the PGA Tour. So it was a really good field coming into this one. So yeah, I feel pretty good about it. But these odds, when we look at there's still so many. Like Colin Morikawa is one of those that I think could play really, really well here. This is a ball striker's paradise. Particularly an approach, if you are good with your ball striking and if you are average to better with your putter, because the greens are going to be slow. And it's interesting because Ramey Burns was telling me that he was watching them measuring of the speed of the greens, and the front of the greens are soft. The middle greens are middle speed and hardness, and the back of the greens are rock hard. Isn't that interesting in terms of that spread? So, Tom, have I asked you yet who you've picked to win this thing? I don't think I have.
No, you haven't. But what do I know? What do you care what I think?
I do care.
What do I know? I would love. We always say, who do you want versus who do you like? And I want.
Well, who do you think?
I'm as emotional. I'm as emotional as my question of the day, Matt. And that is, I want Rory McIlroy to win. Do I think he's going to win? I don't. I don't think he's going to win. I think Scottie Scheffler's going to win. I think Scottie Scheffler's putting is the only thing that needs to come together for it to be his week. And I think it doesn't even have to come together all the way because it's links golf for him, for his putting. Doesn't need to come together all the way for him to win. So I think if he can just find a little something. But we don't have a graphic for this, but I wanted to read this to you because I came across this, and I think it's really interesting considering. This is the world ranking for the Open winner, the average world ranking for the Open winner. 3 times the Open champion was already ranked number 1 in the world. 15 times the Open championship winner was ranked somewhere between 2nd and 10th in the world. And if you go back the last 10 years, the lowest ranked player to win the Open Championship was Shane Lowry at 33. And just a couple years ago when Brian Harmon won, he was 26th in the world. So the reality is, and then you're looking at Xander at 3rd, Cam Smith who's 6th, Morikawa was 4th, Spieth with 3rd when he won.
Yep.
The reality, Matt, is when you're looking at this week, statistically speaking, and the odds will show you this, I think the guys ranked in the top 10 in the world, I think it's going to be very difficult to argue that the winner doesn't come from that crop. I think it's unlikely the winner does not come from that group of 10 players. And I'm just going to read you those players right now. This is the top 10 in the world right now.
Yep.
Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, Russell Henley, Colin Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, Sepp Straka is 8th in the world, someone you mentioned earlier, Matt. Ludwig Oberg is 9th, and J.J. Spahn is 10th. 11 and 12 are Hovland and Matsuyama. But if you look at that group and you look at the odds, someone like Russell Henley, I think, was going off at like 50 or 60 to 1 here.
I was going to ask
He's
you what his
50 to
odds
1
were.
right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
50 to 1 is pretty good bet right now for number 5 in the world.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was looking at some of those odds. I was like, whoa, there's some really good, dare say, bargains in there that people may want to think about. Anyways, so we are ready to rock and roll. We're going to be back with you again tomorrow. We'll be hearing from many more players that are coming through the media center in terms of getting their mindset, getting ready for this 2025 Open at Royal Portrush. It is the 153rd edition. Thank you for your company today, folks. It was a pleasure, as always, to have it, and we're looking forward to it again, as I mentioned, tomorrow, same time as today at 9 a.m. Eastern Time is when we will be on the air. Until we are together, please be well, and goodbye for now.